Than 33 minutes ago, Israel Hamas war updates. 24 hostages held by Hamas in Gaza has been released, guys. And this is breaking news. This is literally the first batch of hostages which have been abducted by Hamas on October 7th, which have been released under the new Gaza ceasefire deal. And local stations are actually showing that 13 Israeli hostages are being transferred to the Red Cross, then transferring over to the Egyptian territory. So this is actually the first sign of some good news here. Many of you guys have celebrated Thanksgiving yesterday. Hopefully you had a great time with your families. Well, guess what? Protesters interrupted the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade, and it was ultimately temporarily halted when a group of about 30 pro-Palestinian protesters ran into the streets and apparently glued themselves to the pavement of the parade route in New York City, guys. And we've been seeing a lot of the blue states experiencing these demonstrations, these protests, riots. We've seen it in New York City. We've seen it in Chicago. We've seen it in San Francisco, the Bay Area, Los Angeles, California. We've literally seen protesters come together in a coordinated effort to shut down bridges. Cars have been blocking highways. In fact, the cars have blocked the road, the entire bridge over in the Bay Area. These protesters literally shut their cars off and threw their keys into the water and blocked traffic for hours. This is what we're seeing. And for the most part, we were seeing this in the blue states, in the blue cities, mainly. But we've actually seen pro-Palestinian and pro-Israeli protesters kick off in Florida, guys, as if Florida needed anything else to go wrong. We actually saw pro-Palestinian and pro-Israeli protesters literally kick off dueling demonstrations in Miami, Florida, in Miami Beach. These protesters were literally in the streets, shutting things down. As the war in the Middle East intensified, tensions in Florida, South Florida, have increased. You had separate demonstrations kicked off at Loomis Park in Miami Beach, where pro-Israeli and pro-Palestinian protesters had gathered to voice their opinions and their concerns as the world entered the sixth week since the October Hamas-led attack on Israel. Guys, Florida's got a lot of issues going on right now. And this is probably why so many, like literally millions of people who have been Florida residents for basically their entire lives or a large part of their lives, they're leaving Florida. People are leaving Florida. And the real estate dynamics of Florida have definitely changed over the years. And let me know if you guys live in Florida, if you've ever visited Florida, if you have family in Florida. Please comment down below if you live in Florida, if you've ever visited Florida. Just say, I visited Florida, I love Florida, or I have family in Florida. Let me know what your experience has been, because Florida's changing. In fact, if you look at the real estate market dynamics for Florida, the Florida real estate market is literally experiencing some rather significant changes with an increase in the property listings and a shift toward more competitive seller listing prices, meaning sellers are getting freaked out. They're seeing what's happening and people are getting out, and they're getting out fast. In fact, millions of people are now looking to leave Florida. And this is a complete reversal, real estate housing market reversal, if I've ever seen it. In fact, this trend has led to expectations of a wave of cash buyers, but these expectations may not necessarily be met. By the way, we are live, so if you guys could just take a quick second, drop a quick like for the video, and also just confirm if you're able to hear me in the comment section down below. British Gray, appreciate you, man. Brown Sugar Baby, good morning. Benzer888 and Raul Rodriguez. I definitely really appreciate you guys dropping some comments here. Raul says, Miami born, raised my beach, has always been a blue part of the city. Nothing else anywhere in Florida. Appreciate your comment and your insight, boots on the ground. Lux says, I'm a native Floridian, lived here all my life, love it. I'm in Naples, Florida. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. So yeah, the real estate dynamic in Florida is aggressively changing. In fact, I mean, if you think about snowbirds, who are typically like the seasonal buyers, They are normally, a little bit more affluent, a little bit more of the wealthier side of the demographic. They're usually paying cash for real estate in Florida, but they're now more inclined to sell their properties instead of purchasing new ones, which is rather interesting. In fact, this shift could possibly be due to this higher interest rate market, making it a lot, very much so, unfavorable for real estate purchases, and not to mention expensive real estate. So if you're in Florida or thinking about buying a house in Florida, maybe you're thinking about buying a condo in Florida, you've likely seen these mortgage rates climbing through the roof. If you're looking at buying a property in Florida, even if you can afford the mortgage payment, do yourself a favor. This is just, me just trying to offer a little bit of friendly advice to you. If you already live in Florida, you may already know this. You probably already do. But if you're thinking about buying a property in Florida, single family residence, townhouse, condo, it really doesn't matter. Make sure you can afford the homeowner's insurance, because these natural disasters in Florida have literally been devastating insurance companies and homeowners left and right. And a lot of buyers, homeowners, home buyers are having buyer's remorse because they're like, oh my God, Ron, I didn't know how expensive this homeowner's insurance is going to be. I can afford the mortgage, but I can't afford to keep this house insured. I'll tell you what, you don't want to sit in a $900,000 house and you're making your mortgage payment, and then all of a sudden you realize you can't afford to keep this thing insured, because the last thing you need is a Category 4, Category 5 hurricane to come through and wipe your house out and you not have insurance. That's a great way to find yourself and your family in bankruptcy court real fast. So, okay, so Lux says very wealthy location where I'm at. Hey Lux, where are you? If you could drop let me know what part of town you're at. Squirrel Tribe says Florida is the best. Nice, I appreciate that, Squirrel Tribe. Squirrel Tribe also says I pray for all of those self-insured Florida homeowners. Wow. And that's what a lot of people are doing. Now, if you have a mortgage on a property, I don't care if you're in Florida, California, New York, Illinois, Chicago, you name it, it has to be insured. That's a legal obligation you have to fulfill. So if you're one of the many Florida residents who have found that they have been dropped from their current insurance companies, or they have found that when they went to renew their homeowner's insurance policy, that the policy went up by 300%. Some people have seen their homeowner's insurance policies go up by 400%. It's going to put people in a very, very tough financial situation. And this may actually be one of the most significant factors that is leading people to literally list their houses for sale. I mean, we're seeing a drastic increase in property listings, and this could be one of the primary factors. And here's another thing. If you're looking at moving to Florida, buying a house in Florida, a lot of people don't realize that, Florida used to be one of the cheap states to live in, and it's an amazing place, when the weather's nice. It's a great vacation destination for many families. But unless you have a way to just kind of bump up your income whenever you need to, maybe you have a side hustle or some kind of entrepreneurial endeavor where you can increase your commissions, increase your sales, and increase your income, then a lot of people are not going to be able to keep up with these rising increases. Now, here's something that a lot of people do not consider that needs to be considered. When you move to Florida, if you're considering moving to Florida, if you're looking at buying a house in Florida, maybe even a second home in Florida, most Florida homes have pools in them. And if you've never had a pool on your property, I don't know if you want a pool, if you like having a pool on your property. Everybody's got their own opinion. But when you move to Florida, chances are there's going to be a pool on that property. Now, not every, property is going to have that, but that's an added expense. And a pool on your property is going to make your insurance more expensive than a property that doesn't have a pool in most cases. And, so I just want to put that out there, because that's another expense that most people don't consider when they're thinking about living in Florida, buying a property in Florida, second home, vacation home. A lot of people thought about, hey, I can offset these expenses by listing my property on Airbnb or VRBO and doing like a short-term rental, that kind of thing, increasing my income on the side. Sounds great in theory, but more and more homeowners are looking at doing that, and Airbnb's market is literally getting flooded. And this is where the term Airbnb bust kind of comes into play, because there's so many people that are now almost forced to have to list their properties on Airbnb. Is driving all the rent rates down. So anybody who was thinking about listing their property on Airbnb may get a whole lot less for their money, a whole lot less for their property than what they thought. Not to mention, if you've never listed on Airbnb, what a lot of people don't realize is that it's kind of like products on Amazon. If you've ever ordered a product on Amazon, you probably never ordered a product that had no reviews, right? Like, you always look at the reviews. And so if you look at products on Amazon and it has no reviews, you're probably going to skip over that one. And also, if it's not on page one, you're probably not even going to see it. Well, if you're listing your Florida property on Airbnb and you're not on page one and you don't have a bunch of reviews, well, guess what? No one's probably going to rent your property. And even if they do, they're not going to be willing to pay what properties with good reviews and properties on the first page and properties with a lot of reviews are charging. So you're going to have to basically give your property away, because if you're just now listing it, you're going to have no reviews, you're going to have no stars, you're probably going to be on page 10. So good luck getting it rented out. So people are losing their shirt in Florida right now. Now, how many people have ever gone to Florida and done any of those fishing charters, right? Fishing charters are big. So I would say this: if you can get, maybe a Florida property somewhere near one of the Florida fishing charter destinations, that might make your property a lot more desirable and possibly help with the property resale value. But Florida's going through this massive crisis right now. It is literally unbelievable. And I'm seeing you guys blowing up the comments. Hey guys, we got well over 165 people in here. If I can get 165 likes in here, that would be amazing. It only takes a second. Also, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel. I'd love to have you guys a part of the community. Please be careful in the comments. A lot of scammers, a lot of bots in the comments. So please be careful. And I've also left some links to our brand new YouTube channel. It's called Truth Exposed. Make sure you check it out in the description down below this video. But yeah, so Florida's undergoing some pretty significant challenges. In fact, the state of Florida has been facing this insurance crisis, with property owners experiencing, get this guys, double property taxes and double insurance costs, right? The rising home insurance premiums and the property tax are absolutely making it difficult, almost unbearable for some to be able to maintain their properties, forcing them to end up listing their properties for sale, guys. This is just unbelievable. And this is an understated problem that the state of Florida is undergoing. Now, many people are like, well, what is Ron DeSantis doing about this? A lot of people aren't really happy about Ron DeSantis's actions toward this significant statewide problem. Here's another thing. When you have a state that's facing the insurance crisis that's going on right now, where property owners are almost being forced to leave the state of Florida, it's like, it almost negates the fact that Florida does not have a state income tax, which is one of the biggest benefits that many people want to move to Florida for, beyond the amazing beaches, the vacation destination that Florida traditionally is. But it's like, look, hey, Florida, they have no state income tax. You could literally save thousands of dollars for living in a state with no state income tax, but yet your savings on state income tax is clearly just washed away or completely wasted, for the simple fact that you have all these other expenses that no one wants to talk about. No one wants to face the real issues that are happening right now, and Florida homeowners are getting destroyed, especially when you look at how many people are coming from these even more expensive places like New York. People are migrating from New York. They're migrating from California. They're migrating from Las Vegas. I mean, if you've ever been to Las Vegas real estate can be very, very expensive. So if you're moving from Las Vegas, if you're moving from Los Angeles, San Francisco, the Bay Area to Florida, Florida real estate feels unbelievably cheap. And the reason is because those other areas, cost of real estate is so expensive. And so a lot of these migrants coming from these other states are coming to Florida and they're driving up the price of real estate. And these higher and higher and a lot of these people are cash buyers. They're cash buyers and they're running up the price of real estate. The crash is coming, folks, because the rate at which people are migrating in from these other states is slowing down. In fact, if you look at BlackRock, look at State Street, look at Vanguard, these companies, these investment firms, they're not buying up these properties like they used to. I mean, sure, BlackRock can come in and buy whatever they want. Sure, Vanguard and State Street can come in and buy up whatever properties and beat out, in when you had the multiple offer bid situations. Sure, BlackRock, Vanguard with their bottomless bank accounts can come in and offer a cash offer and beat out pretty much any buyer, because who's got more money than BlackRock, right? Well, even they're slowing down their purchasing of real estate, right? And don't even get me started on the quality of life declining, right? You have more and more traffic taking place in and around Florida. It's unbelievable. Like a trip that used to take you 15 minutes now might take you 30 to 45 minutes. And it adds stress to a lifestyle that used to be pretty calm, relaxed, and just happy-go-lucky. And it's really changing Florida from what it used to be into something just totally different. And for those who are like me, who remember Florida the way it used to be, it's not okay. It's not okay, right? So we got this really interesting dichotomy that's evolving right now. And one thing that's also evolving is the supply demand situation, right? So as we talked about how, the influx of intrastate migrants coming from California, Las Vegas, New York, and Chicago, some of these other more expensive real estate areas is declining, that means that the demand is reducing. And as more and more Florida homeowners are facing these higher costs, these higher insurance rates, higher property taxes, HOAs are banging people in the head with all these different rules and regulations telling you what you can and cannot do with your properties. Oh, you can't do this. Oh, we have to approve this. Oh, you made a change before applying for us to approve you to make this change to the exterior of your property. Oh, well, we're going to go ahead and hit you with a fine, okay? And if you don't pay this fine, we're going to slap you with a lien. Oh, wait, your grass is, a quarter of an inch above the grass height length that we've specified as grass being too tall for your neighborhood. Oh, here's a $75 fine. Oh, and since we had to send the letter to you certified mail, we're going to charge you an extra $50 because we sent it to you certified mail. So here's your $75 fine plus $50 for our certified mail fee. So here's a $125 fine because your grass was a half an inch too tall. I mean, like, it's getting ridiculous, guys. And I surely hope that Ron DeSantis has a plan. I hope he's got a plan, because I don't think he wants to see a mass exodus of people evacuating the state of Florida. That would not be a good look, especially if he ever wants to run for a presidential candidacy spot. It just wouldn't be a good look, right? So, I'm just saying, guys, like it's getting a bit unbearable. It's a little sad when you think about it. And, so anyway, these are some of the topics we talk about over on the Patreon channel. If you guys aren't a part of our Patreon community, I've left a link for you guys in the description down below this video. If you want to talk to me on Patreon, if you want to send me a message, that's where I'm at. As a matter of fact, let me just take 2 seconds. I'm going to pin a comment right now so you guys can join us over on the Patreon. We're active. We're live over in that community. Join us. I'd love to have you guys a part of the community. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and pin a comment for you guys so you can easily find us. You can easily find the Patreon group in the chat. We got 122 likes in here. We got 200 people in here. Can you guys just drop a quick like for the video? It just takes a second. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Oh, Squirrel Tribe, you joined the Patreon. Thank you so much. And it's free. It's totally free. You don't even have to, So we just want to have more people over there, like-minded people, hanging out with the community and sharing experiences, stories, secrets, hacks. Let's move the community forward, right? We're all in this together. Now, the rising carrying costs of real estate. I mean, this is a real problem. We've talked about inflation. CPI numbers are coming down on paper. We're not seeing it really in the grocery stores. But the real fact of the matter is that higher home insurance premiums and property taxes have literally increased the carrying costs for many of the seasonal residents, and it's making it less financially viable for them to keep their properties. So, a lot of these homeowners, a lot of these Florida homeowners don't even live in Florida. They own the homes, but they're snowbirds. So they'll fly down to Florida during the colder months and kind of hang out. Well, since these HOA fees are going up, roofs need to get replaced on a lot of these properties to remain insured, because there's an overwhelming number of homeowners insurance policies for Florida residents being canceled at an alarming rate. Many of the requirements that these insurance companies are telling the homeowners is, hey, not only are we going to raise your insurance rates, your homeowners insurance rates by 300%, but if you want to stay insured, you have to replace your roof because your roof is, according to our standards, too old. So this is a significant problem, and it's only getting worse. So there are strategies, though. There are strategies. There are ways around this. There are ways that See, guys, what a lot of people don't realize is that this is pretty much setting the stage for one of the greatest wealth transfers that we've ever seen in human history. But unfortunately, a lot of people are not positioning themselves to be able to take full advantage of this. Now, if you guys want to learn more about how to put yourself on the right side of the equation, because life is a chess game, you want to make sure that you're positioning yourself so that as this game plays out, you're on the right side of the wealth transfer. If you want to learn more about that, feel free to join us over on Patreon, where we talk more about that. I do really hope that you guys enjoyed the conversation that we've had this morning. Thanks for joining me. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking this video. And I look forward to hanging out with you guys on the next one. Y'all be safe, all right? Bye.